Welcome to my spoiler-filled review for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If you have seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2, this is for you. If you have not, either go check out my non-spoiler review, which is on the channel now, or go see the movie and then come back and listen to this spoiler review. So, the film obviously picks up sometime after the first film, and like I said on this video, I'm going to be going into my specific favorite and least favorite scenes and discuss a little bit about what I talked about in the non-spoiler. So first of all, yes, Jim Carrey, I said this in my non-spoiler, is back as Eggman, and he's a lot less Jim Carrey in this movie than he was in the first one. In the first movie, he was all the way back to being wacky Jim Carrey. Here, he's still wacky, he's still cartoony, he's still animated, but it's a lot less so. He's a lot more, I guess you can say, evil. Now, the big thing to talk about here is the last 30 minutes of the film. That's going to be mostly what I focus on, but I will say that a lot of people I was noticing did not like the dance sequence scene in Siberia with Sonic, Tails, and the Siberians. And I do agree that it might be the weakest scene of the film, but I definitely didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty decent for what it was. There's a lot of dance routines in movies that I find to be completely cringe. For example, Ghostbusters 2016 had one of the cringiest freaking dance sequences ever, yo. Like, it sucked real bad. And that's just one of many movies. In this one, I thought it worked. For some reason, I thought it worked. It kind of reminds me of back when Clerks 2 came out. There's a dance sequence in that movie as well, and a lot of folks thought that that was cheesy, but I thought it was okay. You know, it was okay for what it was. But with this film, you know, I thought this worked, and I thought that, I mean, yeah, it could have been cut out of the movie and it wouldn't have been so bad, but I thought it did work. You know, they're trying to get the map to get to the Master Emerald. Now, Idris Elba's voice of Knuckles, at first I was not really sure what to think about it because it's not the same Knuckles voice that I always pictured. I always pictured Knuckles having much more of a sleazy kind of, maybe like with a Brooklyn accent type of voice. I know it sounds weird to say that, but just based on his animated movements in the original Sonic game, and I'm talking about way back when I first played Sonic 3 and I first saw Knuckles, you know, I thought that's how they were going to kind of play it up. But no, it was, you know, a bit more like a fish out of water sort of character with a much deeper voice, and I thought Idris Elba nailed it. Like, at first, you know, I was a little bit unsure about it, but the more the movie went on, the more I started to really become accustomed to and acclimated to his voice, and I thought that it worked out pretty well. The thing is that even though the special effects in this movie are a lot better than the first movie and a lot of other movies, you can't help but notice that these characters are not real. Like, you just know that when you see the screen, maybe it's just because, you know, the real world looks different, but they don't look real at all. Like, they look animated CGI. And granted, I know that they were, but like, I wonder if for some people it takes them out of the film. For me, I thought it was fine because for some reason everything else is a bit more cartoony, especially the stuff with Eggman. So it was fine for me, but I can see some people criticizing that. The music I also thought was pretty well done, and I really liked the backstory that ties into the first film about the echidnas and the birds and their whole feud, like, and how it tied into Sonic and that first opening shot of the first film. I don't know if they planned it out to be like that, but it definitely worked out to be like that. So there's that. Now, Ben Schwartz was great as Sonic, no denying that. And the person who played Tails is actually a pretty relatively known voice actress named Colleen O'Shaughnessy. She was also in Danny Phantom. She was also in Naruto, Persona 5. She's been in a lot of things. And she played she played Tails in Sonic 2. Very good voice, very effective. Tremendously beloved movie, and like what I said in the non-spoiler review, this movie is basically made for kids and it's made for hardcore Sonic fans, nobody else. Like, I mean, granted, others can enjoy it, but that's the target audience, and because of that, I can understand why some people would dislike the film or why some people would not really understand it, but the critics are kind of stupid because, you know, this whole, well, they didn't focus on the human characters thing is so moronic because Sonic fans didn't even want human characters in there to begin with, or at least not many of them. You know, not a lot of them. And I thought they kept it, you know, a bit, you know, brief. Now, one thing I will say that I didn't like is how at the end of the film, and this is only my own criticism, so if this does not bother you, I understand. It's just something that I personally thought was a little bit weird, is the fact that at the end of the movie, Tom refers to Sonic, or refers to himself as dad, or Sonic refers to him as dad, and it was almost like Tom became Sonic's adopted father. I didn't really like that. Like, I thought it was more. I always felt like with the first movie, it was more like a buddy cop type of thing where they were best friends, not like a father son thing. Didn't really like that at all, to be honest with you. Now, another thing I saw criticized was the whole thing with the the wedding scene and that whole thing. I thought it was fine. Like, it wasn't the best comedy in the world. The angry bride, forgetting plate stuff's been done before, but I thought it was fine. It was probably the only time in the film that the humans really got to do something, and the rest of the movie became pretty much all the animated characters. Now, by the end of the film, we had Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails working together to stop Dr. Robotnik's giant robot, which looked like it was a hybrid of bosses from other Sonic games, specifically Sonic 2. From older Sonic games, I meant to say, not other, older Sonic games. And I thought it was weird how when Eggman touched the Emerald, it gave him these crazy supernatural powers, and I thought what didn't make any sense to me, and this is a criticism that I think people should think about, is I know that he's a big mechanical dude, but why would he even create that giant robot? If he has the powers of a god, if he's able to do whatever he wants and zap whoever he wants to and wipe them out, if the Chaos Emerald or the Master Emerald really did give you those powers, like give you the ability to, get, like, grant whatever wish you want, I thought it was kind of weird that he just creates a giant mech instead of just destroying everything with himself. Like, if you have that kind of power, why don't you just destroy everything yourself? That was a little bit stupid. Granted, Robotnik as a character is kind of like that. I thought it was a little bit dumb. Now, I love the Easter eggs. I love seeing, like, Fat Robotnik on the computer screen, the Mean Bean coffee shop. I love that. I loved, the Chaos Emerald obviously being, a thing. And of course, I love Supersonic, but man, Supersonic, I wanted a little bit more of Supersonic. I wanted a little bit more. He was Supersonic. He went in there and he destroyed everything and just smashed Robotnik's robot, and that was cool. But, like, it was also like I wanted more of that. Like, I wanted to see him really destroy the robot even faster than he would, or even not faster, but even more, like, effective, The transformation scene was kind of cool, but it was a tiny bit, like, it could have been done better, is what I'm saying. It could have been done better. But seeing Supersonic on the big screen was cool. Me being, of course, a Dragon Ball fan, I was hoping for some kind of Dragon Ball reference. Like, it would have been funny if, like, Eggman was like, said something like, oh, nice new look. And then Sonic's like, yeah, I was watching this old cartoon where this guy's best friend got killed in it by an alien, and then Robotnik can interrupt him or something like that, where you don't actually have to say Dragon Ball. Because even, like, Shang-Chi referenced Dragon Ball, right? I thought that was kind of cool. But we didn't get that in this movie, when obviously we all know that Sonic borrowed many ideas from Dragon Ball. I did a whole video about this in 2017 about Sonic and Dragon Ball and how they borrowed from each other. I covered that ages ago. But nonetheless, that's just something that I wanted. Overall, like, the movie was a lot of fun, and it's not perfect, but it is what it set out to do, to be a fun little romp. It's not even that long of a film. It's 2 hours long, and the characters were all pretty in line with how they were originally, because in the original Sonic games, Knuckles also figures out eventually that Robotnik was, not really on his side. He turns good, and of course we have the big post-credit scene of Shadow the Hedgehog, which I predicted years ago they were going to do this, and it worked out, because now Project Shadow is going to be the next big thing for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 whenever that film comes out, which will be interesting because Jim Carrey has recently said that he wants to take a break from doing movies, or at least, like, go into semi-retirement. So I don't know if he's going to play Eggman again, because they don't really show his body in this movie, so he could have survived, or if they're just going to focus on Shadow and not even have Eggman in the film at all. I feel like because in the original story, it was Dr. Robotnik's, like, great-grandfather or whatever that, like, where the whole thing kind of started, so they have to play up on that, but it's not really necessary. I still feel like I want Jim Carrey to at least be in the film to a degree. Maybe if he's not the lead heel, maybe if Shadow is the lead heel, it could work like that. So with that being said, enjoyed the film. As far as scenes that I really loved, like anything with Knuckles was great. The scene with Knuckles, like using his knuckles to climb the side of the building and like, you know, the platform. Oh, it's a staircase. Like that was funny. The Knuckles scene, like Tails with the car showing up. Like where'd Tails even get the car from? Like that was funny. It's just, you have to kind of suspend your disbelief for this film. The appearance of Gunn, of course, being in the movie. Tons of things that lead into, you know, really was Sonic Adventure 2, which is a game that I owned on the Dreamcast. I still have my Sonic Adventure 2 game, and one that I remember to this day. Although I do wonder if in the future, if they're going to have, you know, Perfect Chaos or stuff like that from that game. I do wonder about that from Sonic Adventure. Anyways, with that being said, let me know what you thought about Sonic, the spoiler-free discussion. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.